Just let them know we're starting and get here.
You're recording.
Could use the game. Okay, we ready?
Yep, yes.
Okay. Are we recording now?
Yep.
Okay. This is the ad hoc Academy Community Center Building Committee meeting, Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024. This is Joe Valentine, Chair, and I'd like to call the meeting to order. First item on the agenda is approval of the prior minutes from October 15th. Any comments? Motion to approve as is, as written.
So moved.
Second,
I'll second.
Pardon?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. The liaison reports, Al and Matt, I don't see anybody else here. Do you have, which of you would like to go first, or does either of you have anything to report?
I will defer to Al.
Thank you very much, Matt. My update has to do with filling the empty seat on the committee. Interviews are taking place this week amongst the candidates who have asked to be considered. And hopefully at the selectmen's meeting next week, we will appoint someone to fill the empty seat.
Al, could you pause 1 second? We seem to be having a problem with volume.
Yeah. Let's try this. Can you try again?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
I will repeat my remarks. There is an empty seat on this committee, and the selectmen are conducting interviews this week. And we hope that at the Board of Selectmen meeting next week, we will make an appointment and fill the empty seat.
Thank you, Al. Anything else?
I can't wait to hear what Matt's got to say.
Well, I have to say that Al has a more exciting report from the Board of Finance. There's nothing relevant here. We have a special meeting tomorrow to discuss some ARPA funding, but again, nothing pertains here. And we are going to start planning going into the budget season with workshops coming up in the early part of the year, but nothing specific for tonight. Next is chair's comments. There was something that Mark was going to handle, and if he wasn't here, I was going to handle it. Is any word from Mark, John?
No.
Well, I guess as part of the chair's comment, the first thing I'd like to say is, even as we're waiting a new member, I really would I'd like to take a minute to thank all of you, all of the people who are been on the committee so far and have dedicated 2 years of your life or more to it now. But I think we're coming to a closure here. We're coming to the good stuff where we get to actually build the building. So and John, thank you for your service while you're here, and Eileen Davis and Joe Paradiso, who all served on the committee and contributed. It's been a privilege being the chair. I do appreciate all the time and effort that's been put in. So I will give somewhat what Mark what Mark would say. Actually, we talked about this, and it's on the 2 estimates that we received from I think Pack and John. What was the other one? Keys. And the 2 estimates have come in. They've gone through the reconciliation.
And with the results well, there are two parts of the results. The preliminary, these are preliminary estimates, and they are estimates on building construction costs are pretty much in line with everything we've seen so far. There were no surprises, nothing out of line with what we've seen, what has been in every estimate that we've gotten over the last year and a half or so. And that if you're not familiar with it, that means that the preliminary estimate was higher than our budgeted amount for construction, and that handles that's the construction piece. If there was new information, it was in proposed alternates. That, as you know, that is a menu item where we will pick and choose what alternates that we can fit in to our whatever budget that we have when we have to after we get the GC, after we get all the bids in from the GC. There was a
Will the folks be getting that soon?
I was just going to say, there was a decision not to release that this time there were no significant amounts of new information in it, and being close to the time when the bid, we're going to go out to bid, literally a week. I was advised by Mark that this would not be. It would be better not to release that information at this point, and we will release it after we get the GC bids in. It's not
So we're going to go out to bid without any of the committee members seeing this data?
Pardon?
We're putting this out to bid without the committee members even being able to see this?
This is the final estimate. That's correct.
Okay, so I have a huge objection to that. Huge objection that we're not even going to see what contractors are going to be seeing prior to going out to bid.
Well, the contractors won't see it either. That was the point.
I mean, but the committee members should be reviewing to ensure that we know what. Okay. I disagree with the approach. I think it's lack of transparency. I think we all need to be able to review this instead of one or two people. And there may be some significant changes that we decide as a committee to remove or add.
Well, I think the committee members should be able to review it. I mean, we should be able to look at it and see if the scope, makes sense for what they estimated. I think. I mean, we all bring different backgrounds to this committee, and we may see things differently.
Yeah.
I may pick up on something that AJ doesn't pick up on, and vice versa.
Right.
Everybody else here. That's just my.
To not be involved in the scope discussions as to what's in and what's out of the base just seems like, why are we here?
Right.
I mean, that's kind of where that's more why we're here, but I think that's something that we should have a chance to all look at. I mean, I don't think we need to discuss dollars and cents today, but I think if we were able to, be able to see and get a copy of it to be able to review it.
There's some logistical
On our own.
challenges, I know.
Yeah, the logistics of the point of that is then that goes to it becomes public knowledge. And the public, I'm not so worried about the public as all the GCs seeing it prior to their getting the bid package and prior to their making their bids.
This must be, so building committees just put this out to bid without verifying things. That's a regular standard operating procedure, John?
That's a question to me, I assume?
Yes.
I mean, John was also here.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't want to.
Didn't see the, sorry. Yeah, our project manager. Thank you.
It is not typical, but usually there is more of a time frame between the CD estimates coming in and the bidding phase, so that you have a buffer of time there, as opposed to what's happening on this project where the bids came in Friday, reconciliation was done on Friday, and then the package is going out next week for the bidding process. So there's
But
the
isn't that-
concern.
Okay, so the point of this meeting was to be able to do that review, and we were supposed to get documents. That was on the original timeline. So I'm still questioning why we can't do this. And I disagree with the fact that you know, some GCCs may get online and see this and review.
Is there a possibility for us to see just a differential?
Let me just take a step back, because there is, later, we could discuss it now, but later there's scheduled to be a page turn review, and the documents are supposed to go out on the 28th. And what I was going to propose is that we review the documents before they go out.
Certainly, I mean, at the bare minimum, yes. It would be nice if we knew the costs attached to the documents so that we could say the scope is not necessarily needs to be of this level or can be put aside or managed or something. But I mean, at bare minimum, yeah, there needs to be a full page turn review. And responses from the architect.
That is in our schedule.
Yeah. Well, it's TBD.
That was supposed to be
In the 28th is in 6 days.
So we're gonna do the page turn
Work
after we
full-time?
send it out to bid?
No, we should do it before, and that means that if we have to schedule it, if we have to move that date of the 28th out a day or two to get to it, then we should do that.
I guess the question to me is that the point of the page turn is for us to be able to bring up concerns or issues.
Mhm.
And there would not be any time to address said concerns or issues. We do it on the 28th, right? Or really any time before. Even if we did it tomorrow,
Mhm.
I don't think we've got enough. Tom wouldn't have enough time to turn around a new set of documents pre-bid, I would imagine.
Or if there's addendums that have to go in based on our comments, that has to be all developed and added in and sent out. You're just delaying the bidding process at that point, right? Are we gonna-
Right, where they're deciding to say,
Then
if
we've
we get
got,
feedback, we're not gonna
So
go out.
this has been our schedule, so I'm only pointing out what the schedule says.
Yeah,
Whether we agree with it or disagree with it now.
well, we were
it's-
supposed to have documents this week giving us this information. So the fact that they weren't sent to the committee, we can go back through.
We're talking about two
go
different
back
things.
through the minutes to the
We're
meeting.
talking
The
about the GC.
estimating review was supposed to happen prior to these going out to bid. And because we lost an estimator and that got delayed, then we're gonna all of a sudden not do this review? That's absurd to me.
I think as a point of clarification, the estimate review happened. However, those results are not being disclosed to the committee because they do not want to go to the public for the fact that they could then be reviewed by GCs who are bidding on it. So that part did happen. We are not privy to that. What hasn't happened, which we're now talking about scheduling, would be the page
But
turn.
I think that's, I mean,
I'm just clarifying whether or not I agree with it. I'm just clarifying sort of what is on the schedule and what has and has not happened.
I personally think that this committee should review the estimates prior to going out to bid, and we should be doing the page turner. We were supposed to have the page turner done by a subcommittee, but maybe we do the full committee. Matt, I'm sorry.
And Joan, you might know this better. Is it possible to go into an executive session to be able to discuss this?
We actually looked at that. There were three reasons for doing executive session. One is and two of them have to do with well, one is review and one is hire of employees, and the other is hiring or firing employees. And then there was some latitude if you were doing contract negotiations, and this does not fall into contract negotiations. And those are the only ones. When I spoke to Al, and we had some other input from written stuff from Jeannie, and those were the reasons for executive sessions, and they did not appear to apply.
Okay, thank you.
But when you say go out to the public, you're saying if we discuss it tonight, you actually have to put it out in our meeting minutes and send it to everybody? Is that what you're saying?
it would be part of the video. That's the point. We'd be-
But if this was 4 years ago, we wouldn't have this video going on and we would have to be in person to review the documents or to be at the meeting and the meeting minutes would go out 2 weeks later and somebody would have to ask for it.
And notes would be
Just 'cause
taken
we're
and
doing
part of
this
the,
approach, which I'm fine with, that lets everyone in the world look at it, but that's not really
Right.
the point of this estimate, right? We should be able to look at it. And if that means that we have to go through every number and state it over YouTube, I don't know, but I don't see why we have to do that.
To clarify, our concern is not the citizens of Madison who are constituents.
right,
Correct.
Absolutely, we would welcome their feedback. It's
Right.
that we don't want potential bidders to be able to see what the asbestos removal should cost and all of that. So I think that's, to your point, a couple of years ago, this wouldn't be hybrid and you're welcome to come and sit in this room and go through it.
Right.
But now that it's a video that somebody can pull up at their desk 3 days later and verify their bid, it puts us in a sticky situation where we can't have transparent discussions that we would like to have over things that I think are valid things for this building committee to be discussing. And again, citizens of Madison, welcome to be part of that discussion because we're worried that, you know, there might be collusion in bidding. So there's gotta be some way that we can get around this.
maybe the bid process has to go out where they have to certify that they will not review any meetings that have been held by the committee prior to, you know, maybe that's part of the document.
A little.
Tom,
You're relying on the goodwill of the people and the integrity, but, you know, when we
Tom, could you,
interview the GCs, maybe that's the way to, you know, we can ask this question.
give us some guidance here, please?
So, funny. Listen, the ship is already rolling. We knew we were going to have limited amount of time between when we received the cost estimates and when we were going out to bid because we have a hard time frame to get a number, to get, you know, get out, to get to ultimately to get to a referendum. So I'm of the mindset that we continue with the schedule as it is. The cost, you know, we have two estimates. We received two estimates. One was right basically on the cost, and one was higher than the cost. And then we reconciled them and they came to somewheres in the middle. So there's a, you know, there is a bust. But we could use that information to potentially do value engineering or provide some, you know, provide additional information to the contractors during an addendum process. But I at this point, the cost of doing the project isn't going to be what the estimator's cost is. The cost of doing the project is what is going to be what we yield at bid time. And we're probably going to get 10 contractors that want to bid on this. It's a very nice project. It's very competitive for general contractors. So I would say let's put it out to bid and see what the actual cost is. You know, we just received bids yesterday on a project in Bristol that were 14% below budget. I think this is a good time to bid the work, and I would not hold up the bid process.
We're not talking about holding up the bid process. What we're trying to do is get an understanding as to why these documents aren't within this committee right now. And the fact that we're trying to hide the estimates from the possible GCs when we could put it in a legal document saying, do not look at any video or minute meetings or anything like that prior to the bid. If they do and we can catch them in it, whatever. But I think it's ridiculous that this committee is responsible for this project and we don't even know what's in these documents.
Well, that first of all,
I don't think this estimate's gonna have any effect on the GC process. I think when we get to bid, we're gonna wanna review those numbers thoroughly, and we're gonna wanna react at that time. To me, the estimate was a sanity check for professionals working on the project. To Tom's point, the ship is sailing. we can, this is not the time for us to make drastic modifications to the bid package to go out. And I don't think we could provide much value by reviewing it.
Well,
I think we have more value in keeping it away from the GCs.
yeah, I think my overarching concern was more of like a scope and quantity thing than a cost. You know, it would be like nice to look at both those estimates and just picked up on something the other one didn't.
We literally don't know what's gonna be in the document that's going out to the, we have no clue. What's part of it? We haven't even seen we haven't seen the,
Can I intervene for a second, Joan? We issued a set of drawings to the committee for review, correct? Am I not correct about that? I was fairly certain we did that.
no, we haven't gotten construction document estimates.
No, forget the estimates. We're talking about, I'm talking about the page turn. We issued a set of drawings to the building committee for review, and there was a subcommittee page turn. Is that?
No, there was not a subcommittee page turn. We need that. Secondly,
Right.
I do understand, I have the documents with me. What is hard for me to do a full design review is I am unclear within that what is base scope and what is alternate. So I am unclear as to what we are actually buying in the base scope if it does in fact turn out that we are not adding any alternates. That's why it makes me, as a design committee member, I have not done a design review because I'm very unsure about how to navigate through these documents without a very clear set scope of what is in base scope versus what is an alternate. I know we have the pullout, the high level pullouts, but to me, as a design professional, it's hard to understand what exactly goes into those. And so I would like to sit down with the architectural committee and have a proper page turn instead of just me sitting at my computer for 3 hours, clouding out documents and making, notes on page A.11.
Okay, great. We have no exception. We take no exception to that, and we should do it as soon as possible.
Who is on the
I
sub?
also think that, if you are proposing that to get to base bid scope, there's some value engineering. That is something that the building committee needs to be in on that discussion, because ultimately it would be the building committee's purview as to what gets value engineered.
Right.
Agreed, but I'm not recommending any value engineering at this time other than the alternates that you could choose or not choose.
So at this time, again, flying blind here, Tom, excuse me for this, but at this time is the base scope, if I pull up what the alternates are and I pull those out, is the base scope attainable for what has been approved in referendum to date?
In one estimator's estimate, yes. In the other estimator's estimate, no. How's that for a complicated answer?
I know how estimators work. That's why you have 8-hour reconciliations. So that makes me feel more comfortable. But again, I'm somewhat flying blind, not knowing what is in scope, base scope, what's alternate, what implications that has, what dominoes that takes. I would just like a little bit more information.
Who is this page turning subcommittee?
So that's probably the design review. That's me, Felicia, and you're the alternate, Joan.
Okay.
And that was scheduled, and then, did something happen that we didn't?
I mean, me and AJ got
We did
together,
an
but
informal together.
without an architect,
Oh, okay.
we're really not,
Okay.
We didn't have an architect.
Okay.
So it's,
I mean, isn't it easier just to set up a couple hours and just have the architect go through it,
Mhm.
flip it by page?
Yeah, that's
That's
literally what
typically
page
what's
turn
done.
is. Yeah.
I mean, does it make sense for it to be done as a special committee meeting so that everyone's involved, just in case something has to be voted on, and then we're not delaying the deadline?
That would work for me.
But I don't think the construction documents were part of that link he sent. It was just,
It's the ones we got.
it has all the,
I mean, it was,
Contractual.
I think,
I thought it was just the plan sheets.
It's just the plan sheet, so
But we
it's not
don't-
the spec book or
That's what I'm
anything.
saying.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you kind of need that too?
I mean, if you're doing a deep dive, yeah, it's the plan sheets with all the DD, with all the, general notes and everything. But it's not,
Well, who's QCing that? Is that something that Colliers does before it goes out to bid?
Yeah, we review that, that package in advance.
So have you done that yet?
We're in the process of doing, we've been
Okay.
doing that for
I
a
mean, it's
while.
kind of a big haul, right? I mean, you gotta
Right.
cross-reference, making sure the specs match the plans and make sure we got everything covered, right?
Right,
and then SES as our commissioning agent is also doing their own
yeah,
review
they're
of
done
the
their
mechanical
commission
components.
review.
And did we confirm what the Buy America requirements are? If there's any?
Those are being, Tom, I don't know if you can speak to that, those are being incorporated into the specs. Was it BOBA?
They will be, yes.
There's two different ones. There's the regular Buy America, and depending on what the grant came from, if it came from the new infrastructure bill, then it's called BABA. It's basically it's Buy America, Build America, I guess that's what it stands for. But it's a little more stringent than the regular Buy America requirement.
It's BOBA, I believe, or an email Peggy had sent.
Yeah, I think it's
Maybe
Bob. I think it's Bob. I think it's
ABA.
Bob. It's Build America, Buy America. I think so. It's BABA.
BAB, okay, so it's a typo. on
So-
the email.
So that gets into more detail, like on components of items that you're purchasing. So if you're buying an air conditioner, right, that had a bunch of components with it,
Mhm.
potentially the final product could be made here with components from out of the country, depending on where they came from. I mean, Tom might be up on it more than I am, but I think you just gotta understand the requirements and know what you're purchasing. Because vendors are gonna have to sign off on sheets that, there's a sheet that they sign that it's Buy
Adherence
America
to that
compliant.
guideline.
There could be an alternate approach that I think could solve all the problem, all the issues we have. If the design committee were able to review the CD documents or the package, whichever that is, and concurrently that they could compare it to the last design estimate we have. That would give some members of the committee a chance to see both the construction documents and the estimate.
Can we do that with our consultants present so we can ask
What was that?
questions?
I didn't hear that.
Can we do that with our consultants present,
Yes,
with the architects?
yes,
and
we just can't have a
consultants?
quorum there, that's all. And we have had meetings, our agenda meetings are limited number of people, and they're not they're not announced and they're not public, but they're for the specific purpose of making the agenda for the upcoming meeting. And this will be a specific purpose to review the documents and concurrently review the estimate that we have. We might have to check, I don't know who we would check it with.
I mean, can we make that happen before next Monday? That's fine.
We would have to, and that's, and the next Monday part is not, that's our schedule, that's not a decision that we made. We made that decision a long time ago
Right.
when we
I
made the
just,
schedule.
I feel like I'm being pushed into a corner as a professional who has Thursday and Friday meetings booked. Where was the effort to schedule this page turn that we've been asking for months before we're here today at the
The
end
week
of the line?
before. Less than.
All
I
right,
feel
let's,
the tail is wagging the dog at this point in time. And I think that honestly,
Please, I'm far away from the screen, I did not catch that.
I said, I feel like the tail is wagging the dog at this point. I think we're trying to drive to something that is just rife with potential issues with the public of not having transparency and not having anything out there. So this
yeah,
is,
can we just call an in-person meeting and anybody's welcome to be part of that in-person meeting?
sure. I mean, if it's a special meeting, we can designate it for however we want to have it designated. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jean.
Good to me. So are we calling a special meeting for Friday? That really seems to be the only,
Could I comment on the date?
Yeah.
So if we have a page turn on Friday and we are bidding the project on Monday, I'm still not gonna have enough time to make changes to meet, Monday's bid submission, document set. So even if we have the bid or the page turn on Monday, I'm still issuing an addendum. So if the committee is, finds it's better to do this page turn on the following Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, as long as it's early in the process, that will work. If there's something we have to change, we're gonna be issuing an addendum anyways, because the contractor is gonna have all sorts of questions and clarifications. So don't get hung up with it having to be Thursday or Friday. It could be Monday or Tuesday, and the sky's not gonna fall. We can still react to any commentary the committee has.
Thank you, Tom.
And there's no way we can delay the bid going out another week so that we could at least have this review.
That breaks the some of the things that are at the other end. I've been asked not to delay this. Not to delay what's happening at the other end.
But the end of the bid opening will be delayed if we get 150 Q&A and we have 3 addendum.
Right. So I think,
The cleaner it is when it goes out to bid, the cleaner it is to get the bids in.
right,
End of story. That's how it works.
Mhm.
If you're not ready for bid, you're gonna get a bunch of questions.
And people who
And
take
addendums.
advantage of it.
Yeah.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I feel we're ready to go out to bid. The only difference is if you're gonna pull scope.
so that's the point. We don't know if we're going to pull scope until we go through this process. So that's the problem.
Well, we've been talking about I'm just gonna sit and listen to you guys, but we've been talking about pulling scope, not pulling scope for 6 months. The reality is we've said to the public we're over budget. We gotta find how much we're over budget by so that the town council can decide if they're gonna go for a referendum and what is that number. So at this point, I guess my question is to the committee, does it really matter? Let's find out what the number is and then take the number to town council and they can say, all right, we'll ask for X, or should we ask for X -5? I mean, what are we going to pull out of the scope?
Right. The problem with that is if we're too far out of scope on the base, then it's
To Tom's point, we've been talking about scope. We've had scope in, we've had scope out. I've seen something John has put out that had like 10 different estimates on. I just don't see that was the other thing that we discussed. I don't see the value of necessarily having this information. And I also see, but I do see the value in trusting the people that we hired to have taken the many months of discussion and put it into a document that we can, that meets our needs.
well,
Now,
that's
if we-
great because
if
you've
we
seen
were
the
to see that-
document. You've
If we
seen
were
the
to see
document.
that document in the end, or before it goes out, I think seeing the document and reviewing it and making changes are 2 different things. I think at some point we have to trust the people we hired. And
Well-
that they've been listening to us for the last 2 years.
And I have to say that that's not what we were, that wasn't what our charge is. Because if we were trusting the people hired, we'd be hiring them and we'd be walking away and we wouldn't be even meeting. Okay, so we do have a charge to ensure that Madison's taxpayers' dollars is being used well, and that we have the capability to have the explanation of if somehow this thing comes in at the base comes in over 16.9, we've got a problem. especially if the referendum.
What we're going to do, anything we do between now and next week isn't going to affect that. It's, I mean, the deal is done. I mean, we've crossed the Rubicon, so to speak. You know, we could ask
So
for
there's
more
no way that we
information,
can
we
push
can
this out.
understand it. But it's.
If this is being driven, okay, can you just let me finish? If this is being driven by a date that we don't know where it's coming from, it's being told to us that this is the date, then why are we here? Why are we meeting?
Well, what have we been doing for the last 6 or 8 months?
Well,
We're
and then
here-
at the end, when it comes to a critical time, when the entire committee should be uniform and have a full understanding of what's happening, we're saying, nope, we're gonna go blind. Yeah, we spent over 2.5 years on this. I would like to be able to say that I know what's in the documents that are going out for the damn bid.
And that's something that we can know. That's something that can be shared.
So
Is Al there? Is Al, I
So,
mean,
but they're going out Monday. When are they going to be shared? And when will the public be able to see it? Because it's very critical that the public be able to see it as well.
we have the documents, we have the drawing set, we do not have the cast estimate. I think problem number
No,
one
2
is
people have the documents, right? The entire committee doesn't have the documents.
that not shared with
I
everyone?
think he shared it with everybody.
Was it with everybody or just the design?
I got a
I
copy.
think it was everybody, and I think
I think might have asked
the
for it.
subcommittee is who had to review the documents. I think he shared it with everyone.
All right. Should we set up a page turn just to go through it? There are some things I asked last week that I don't know, QNM hasn't really spoken that, I don't know if they've been addressed or not yet, because I have not seen any revisions to the documents. We have not had an in-depth discussion about the pros and cons of that. So that would be one thing that, you know, the high level things, because yeah, adding another bathroom is a big deal to change the documents before they go out to bid. That does complicate matters. So high level things like that. I'm not talking about like, oh, we'd like the floor color to be red instead of blue. But there are some high level things structurally. And again, in the brief time that AJ and I were able to meet and review, those things came out. But also I am still very unclear as to what is base and what is alternate. And that is why I would like our consultants, who are the professionals I do trust. I've worked closely with QA&M and Colliers for a long time. I do trust their input, but without having to sit down to ask them these questions, I don't necessarily know that they've even thought of these things that us as building community members with all of our knowledge and our, you know, access to the voting public of Madison could bring up. So that's why we need to have this page turn to make sure that before we go out to bid, the documents are clean and are to the level that the committee wants them to be, because to Dave's point, the more addendums we present, the messier it gets getting the bids back and keeping track of it during construction. So yeah, we're running out of time and we need to do this, but like, can we just set a date and just make it happen?
If we're gonna do it without addendum, though, we've got to delay. It's the only way to do it.
We're gonna do an addendum either way. No matter what, there's questions that's
There will
gonna
be.
come in that is going to need an addendum. But if there are large things like adding bathroom suites into the MYFS, that should be done before it goes out to bid.
Right. And when did the construction documents come to the committee?
October 2nd.
I was not able to open that file.
October 2nd.
There are 80 pages of
PDFs.
PDFs.
Al, can I ask you a question as far as the timing? The schedule was based on the request that the bids be submitted to, Board of Selectmen at the beginning of December. So that date is, as of now, December 9th. Is that something that can be shifted in order to move the submission of the package?
The original date was
Was
December
December
2nd.
2nd originally. I'm
And
sorry,
it's
yes,
been
that
moved
was
to
moved
December,
out.
it's moved to December 9th.
Correct, sorry.
It's difficult to speak for, it's difficult to speak for my other 4 colleagues, but I think we would be more comfortable if this committee was comfortable with its process and that the members of the committee were in more or less a consensus about moving forward. And so if the date has to slip a little bit, I think the selectmen would prefer that the committee be together and in consensus as the process moves forward. So if I'm answering the question you're asking me, I think it would be better to delay things for days or a week in order for the committee members to feel that they are together on what is going forward.
Thank you, Al.
So the question is, can we do that? Do we feel comfortable doing that as an addendum?
Make it sloppy.
I think what we heard is they're gonna be addendums anyway. I mean,
Well, we're talking about
when
modifying.
GC asks a question, and then you gotta make, you answer it, and you gotta make addendum for everybody else, so. I mean,
Well,
that's,
I don't know that, I don't know the process, but you're gonna take questions and answers through some sort of a portal that you set up during the bidding process, right?
Yes, they come to the
Those
town.
just come in, they get answered, Joe, and they get sent
Oh,
back, and
okay.
those are public for anybody who's bidding to see them,
okay,
right, with the answers, so you're not getting the same question in 10 times. And then
Right, they get,
okay.
addendum is different than the Q and A. I don't know, do you normally take the Q and A at the end, and then you add that into the contract when they sign it, is that what you do?
I don't know what you mean by Q and A.
So the questions and answers that get sent in during the bidding process,
That's,
you formulate those and then they go into the
that creates an
contract.
addendum.
Right, but addendum would just go with the contract.
Yes, that's.
Whoever the
yeah,
low bidder is, or whoever gets selected would go in that contract.
Correct. And
So any of the questions and answers that were answered during the bidding process become part of the
Okay,
contract.
so they don't,
So the
they don't
addendum-
go out,
So if they
they're
say,
available to look at, but they don't, it only becomes an addendum at the end for one bidder.
correct,
That's what-
that's
that's
what
what-
that's the
Well,
way it's
it's-
typically done.
I mean, it's an addendum to the bidding process. All of the contractors receive that addendum, or if there's more than one, the addendums. And then they note that on their bid form.
But
They
you're
have
not,
to acknowledge the receipt of those addendums, no matter if there's one or 10 of them, how many there are.
but you're doing addendums just for questions and answers, not design changes?
No, it's questions and
So
questions
bidder,
that
so
are
let's
posed by
just,
the
maybe
bidders.
to clarify, so we have bidder questions.
Yes,
Don't they just go back and forth? And then there's answers. Those don't get in like an addendum before it goes out to bid. They do?
So your,
Can,
every single question
Huh?
that comes in, you have to put in the agenda and respond to, so that even if
Yeah.
there's a contractor that didn't ask that question, they're privy to the
I'm
same
not- yeah, I'm
information.
not-
Everybody gets the same information.
Correct,
And then
correct. Yeah,
with
that's not
that,
right.
you can also have addenda design changes, like you can have 3 more pages of design notes, or you can say as
Oh,
per.
Yeah, no, I
Section
didn't get that
11,
part. I
yeah.
thought the question and answers were separate. and then
No,
you just-
those are public knowledge, those.
No, no, I know they're,
Yeah.
but I thought, okay, never mind. I'm just familiar with a different system, like a state system where they're all on there and the bidders, contractors will go in and see the bids. Or sorry, not the bids, but the question and answers, and they use that. Then at the end,
yeah, I mean, the
Become part of the
contractors will
contract.
see all the questions and all
correct,
the
that's going
answers.
along, but.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize we did a formal addendum to put those in during the bidding process.
Yes,
Okay, let's, if we want, let's take Al's comment and say that we would like to get the committee comfortable moving forward. What do we have to do to make that happen? And that's the first question. And then when do we do it would be the second question.
I think just the page turn and that feedback incorporated in.
I mean, are we allowed to have a page turn with somebody from QA and M going through it with all of us present?
Yes,
Without-
We'd have to
Yeah.
notice that.
notes the meeting.
Trika, what's wrong with that? What's your concern?
No, I'm saying, but that takes time.
Oh, it takes time.
No, I'm not.
No, we can do a special meeting, I think it's just,
I'm fine,
just
I'm
like
just saying it.
it's like one day's notice.
It's not that much,
Oh,
right?
it's big, no, it's not a big deal.
Gene, is that right?
It's in person, it's 24 hours.
Oh,
In person, 24 hours.
You can do that.
yeah,
We can give them 24 hours, right?
yeah.
All they want.
Meet here at
Honestly.
6:30 tomorrow.
Okay, so one of the things we have to do will be a page turn. Is there anything else?
I mean, at that meeting.
We would have to get responses to that page turn.
At that meeting, can we then look at the estimates as well?
I believe that would be possible, but again, if that would be not a quorum, that would be a 3-member meeting.
Well, why? If it's in
Why?
person,
If it's in person, why can't we all be there?
right, and anybody's welcome to be there if they're a citizen of Madison.
The whole idea is not to have the general contractors
Oh.
see it, but we can all, including members of the public, if they want to sit in, they can listen.
Can you do that and not have it televised? To avoid the potential.
That's the only
issues?
real
Have to
issue
be
we have right
hybrid?
now is that we're live on YouTube. If we weren't doing
Right.
that, we'd have no issue right now.
Right.
Jeannie would do minutes, everybody from the plug would be here.
Could I comment on this for one
Sure.
second? So I really do not believe that I'm actually more afraid of having this committee look at the cost estimates than I am of having the contractors look at the cost estimates. The contractors don't really care what the cost estimates are because they're going to bid it to all their sub trades and their costs are going to be their costs. I tell the contractors all the time, oh, here's the cost estimate. It's for 400 million, whatever the number is, right? And their bids come in at 450 or they come in at 375. The market's going to determine what their bids are. So between me and the committee, I don't care if the contractors see it. You know, my concern is that, you know, we have an estimate and, you know, there's a gap. There's a little bit of a gap. So are we going to spend another 3 months as we have in the last 2 phases, determining what should be in or what should be out, or how are we going to close the gap when, you know, at this point, the market's going to determine what the cost is. And then we decide, are we going to get more money for it? Are we going to get all the money we need for it? Are we going to get partial of the money for it? And you got to go back and do some work. If we're going to do that, I'd rather work with the actual numbers than the projected numbers put together by some cost estimators sitting in a dark room somewhere. So my concern is just delaying the process of getting out to bid. I don't have an issue talking about the page turn, but you know, I mean, to be honest, if you want to do a true cost reconciliation and everyone wants to go through the scope and cost again, you know, we're going to take months to do it because that's what happened the last 2 times.
So the reason that happened the last time is because we were so far off and we were asked by the Board of Selectmen to come up with 3 different scenarios of trying to fit something in and out. We are much more refined, and I disagree with the fact that this committee should see these estimates. And that's pretty much a fairly, I'm being honest right now, that's pretty fucking insulting. Excuse my language.
I'm not trying to insult anybody, and I don't have an issue if the committee sees the estimates. It's public, realistically, it's public information if it's submitted to the town. So why don't we look at it? I'm just saying, I don't want to delay the process. So,
You just muted yourself.
yeah, thank you. You know, I'm sorry, it's not my decision to make. It's this committee's decision to make. And I just, you know, at this point, I'd like to let the contractors price the project and let's work from those numbers. But you know what? You know, why not
I think the
talk
reason
about
we
the
want to
cost?
see it together would be exactly what Felicia said, is if we look at an ad alternate and then all of a sudden we have to have bathrooms in a specific area, that's an impact where we may have to delete something else in the project before it goes out.
Right.
We have the whole project be an ad alternate. I mean, you know, come on. I think there's a reason for it. If nothing had come from all of these meetings, and it appears as though like there's going to be less asbestos costs and less this cost and less that cost from, you know, from what Fuss and O'Neill said, we can do certain things and not certain things, then we should be looking at that. And I think it's if we have to do it in person so that the GCs can't see it, but if you don't care if the GCs see it, then we should do it via Zoom. I don't, you know, if we're all concerned, if you have, you know,
I think to recap, I think you're hearing from pretty much every member of this building committee, aside from the chair, that none of us are confident in what's in these documents because there's been conversations that we have not been privy to. So we would like to have a group conversation to make sure that all of us are confident and comfortable with these documents going out before they do. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I guess again, I don't want to conflate the walkthrough of the plans with the estimates, which I care less about the estimates than I do about the walkthrough.
I don't care about us sitting down and do line by line with the estimates. I just think that we should have them to be able to look at them.
Right.
That's all I'm asking. Or I was asking. I know Joan was asking, but.
Right, and if,
we don't need to go through line by line and pick apart 25 cents here and there. That doesn't, we don't need to do that.
none of us are gonna do that again. But what we do wanna
And
do,
to Tom's point, the contract, the GC is gonna send it out to the subs, the mechanical guys are gonna give him a price on his own. He's not gonna go on our meeting to find out what the other guy, some designer had put together, because odds are it's not gonna be 100% correct, so.
No, they're gonna bid it like they're gonna bid all the other projects, I'm sure. My expectation, because they want to win the project.
But I think that we should be able, as a committee, we should be able to see them. We don't need a formal meeting, we don't need to. The page turns important. I mean, I'm not even sure that all of us even understand exactly what, there's a base bid item, like lump sum. And then there's alternate 1 through whatever, and they're all lump sum. And they're all clearly identified in our contract documents of what they're bidding for each of those 6 or 7, and that's what you guys, colors reviewing? You said?
Yes.
Okay.
is that in the drawing set?
Yeah, that was not clear in the drawing set
I
to
think
me.
if you read the email, though, I believe that Brian said that he could get, if you read the email that came with that he would send them to us. I don't think he did. Wasn't there a comment in there that said these are only the drawing set? If you need the construction documents, I can send them.
I wasn't even on that email.
Really?
I don't think I got the documents from John.
Oh, I was on.
that's, I don't think I've got, you said that it was October 2nd that we got the construction documents or October 22nd?
October
The second, you're on here, Joan.
Am I
But
on
I
it?
could not open
You're
that.
on
I
here.
thought you were. Yeah.
Can you guys re-forward that to me, because I think we got caught behind my firewall.
See, yeah,
Yes.
anything
Oh,
that goes to
sorry,
emails
no,
and
Smith and
emails.
Madison, I'm sorry, I misread.
Black hole.
I take that back. But I said, I saw Madison, I was confused for a second.
Am I on?
Huh?
AJ,
Alright.
can you re-forward that to me, please?
Set up and-
Sure, no, you're not. Jeannie is not on there.
John, you were on the list.
I know, I don't, it did not, I'm not,
Yeah, I got it.
I got through the fire.
Just a PDF package, isn't it?
Yeah, but
I opened.
But it's
If it's the
Sorry.
size of it, if it's
Yeah.
large, it's not gonna-
it's a
I opened it, I was
SharePoint
able to
thing.
open it.
You're not?
I was able to open it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm on that particular list.
So the idea behind the page turn, so I'm on the same page with everybody. We're gonna do it online. In person.
in person so that we can have frank discussion about what is in
and
base
then-
scope, what is not, and if we don't need
And
to
that,
go over
and
the cost
that,
estimates.
and that
line by
actually would
line.
go with would go hand in hand with the estimate. Because the estimate doesn't give the scope, but it breaks out the different packages.
Right.
It doesn't, but even if you looked at the estimates, they don't, there's no scope definition there. It's just a number.
So, back to my point, so Brian will come with his laptop, plug it in on the big screen, and we'll all sit in the room and we'll go through page by page.
Yeah, not on like a, we don't have to get in the weeds, but
No,
like,
no, I'm
yeah,
saying, but
Every page.
Yeah.
somebody's
yeah.
gonna be here from QA9 to go through the plans.
that's what I would like, and for Colliers to take notes and offer.
I mean,
their
I wasn't
insight too.
opposed to
Yeah.
doing Teams or something and having him just share his screen, and show us in person, but if he needs to be here, it's fine too.
I'd rather have a set of plans in front of me than on a Teams.
Like paper set?
Yeah, or just have a discussion in the room. I think certain things in design reviews get lost when it's over video.
Fair.
And we're saying though that any work that comes out of that, any artifacts that come out of that can be done as an addendum to the bid package, so we don't delay the bid.
Well, It depends on what the comments are.
Correct.
I mean, if you're looking to add a bathroom, then that's not something that can be done within 3 weeks for the bidding process.
And if there's things that take time to
Well, those are
review,
some of the sort of questions we had and comments about how we handle logistics and things like that.
Okay.
So I think that's why the page turn is giving us some anxiety and hesitation, because we do have some bigger logistical questions about operational aspects of the building and making sure that it's meeting the needs of the town. So I think as we've had new committee members come in and new perspectives come in, we have questions that, and we haven't done this sort of process. We want those to have a form to be aired, and that's where I think you're hearing some like between the blinds sort of hesitation from the committee.
but we
And,
also, we also don't want to change order the project to death when it goes to contract, and we have all these things that are still outliers.
No, it'll crush us. If some of these
Right.
bigger things are change orders,
Yeah.
they're gonna mark them up, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, if there's costs, I mean, not everything's a
Like,
cost, but usually. But to John's point, for adding a bathroom, you're not really gonna change order that. A little tough.
No,
Um,
that's a whole redesign. The comment.
Ann and I are in the same boat. I don't have access to the PDF. It said contact the person who sent it. So,
I think we lost Al, but with respect to the page turn, are we looking to schedule that, I'm assuming next week?
Well, that's what
And if
I'm
we're
trying
pushing-
to,
Are we pushing
That's-
out the
that,
date?
that's what I'm trying to, I'm just listening. I don't hear a consensus on on what we need to go forward. I hear page turns.
Oh, yeah.
I hear that, we were going to, at one point, it says we should be reviewing the GC package before it goes out. So there's the page turn on the design, there's the estimate, and then there's the GC bid package. Are we looking to review all three of those? Because that's all kind of new information. Not the page turn was there.
If we have our consultants together, we should be able to have easy conversations about, is this cross-referenced? Where is it in the GC package? Where does this fall with the cost estimates? It's all kind of one conversation together, that if we have our consultants in the room, we can have a conversation about this to make sure that all of us feel comfortable with what's in there and what isn't. And we can, at the same time, have the conversations reconfirming what is in base scope, reconfirming what is an alternate. And also, to the points that came up last week, hey, architect, have you made these revisions? Or let's have a conversation as to why you don't think that these revisions are appropriate for the project. I'm willing, I don't know everything. I'm willing to take their professional advice. They are the professionals. However, not even being able to have these conversations is what makes me very hesitant to say, yep, I bless these documents to go out. I just want to have a conversation. I've been waiting for months to have this conversation.
And the overarching discussion would be the page turn. That would give some,
What is in the bid documents? So bid documents are the drawings and the spec books and then the instructions to the GC bidders. I want to know what bid documents are going out. Yeah. And the language that's in it.
But does somebody from the town have to bless that before it goes out to bid?
They-
It's not-
they
No,
look at the
no
front
town
end.
attorney or anything has to look at the upfront language in the contract or anything?
Yes,
Yeah.
They look at the front end.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
I say.
that's been.
They
sent to
already
them.
did that?
Yeah, that
The
was.
front end specs.
Oh, that's good.
Monday.
Okay,
Yeah, that was sent to Stacy.
okay.
Yeah, but Stacy's just looking at it from like a contractual standard.
No, I meant that,
Yeah.
just make sure that was done.
So again, that's the type of conversation that I'm looking to have. Yes, we call it a page turn, but in our vernacular, a page turn is encompassing all of these factors.
So I guess we need to pick a date and a time. I would suggest that we should put together a detailed agenda for the meeting with times, so we stay on task.
Would it, is this capable, are we capable of doing this in one session, or should we schedule maybe 2 consecutive sessions just to break it up? Or is this something that we can get through in a couple of hours?
I think we could do it in a couple of hours, but I think we would need to schedule like, it can be a shorter one, but an architect response, because there's gonna be a lot of things that we say that they're gonna say, well, I'm gonna have to look into that. So I think it's a 2-part sort of, here's our feedback, here's what we would like to see clarified, changed, wherever, and then they come back and say, yep, it's been clarified and changed, or it hasn't because this is our professional opinion.
And Colliers has a document for that, so we go down the line, we list out the questions, and there's 30 columns for responses, and
Yeah,
There's no other-
there's the design review log, that kind of,
Al would like everybody to know that his network connection died. That's why he had to get off. He's following the meeting on his cell phone at this point.
Right.
And so if you can promote him, Al's iPhone 14.
Oh, I was wondering who that was.
like, John, has this been responded to? The DD review log?
Sure, to be honest, I can't remember if that's.
So like, that doesn't give me confidence in the fact that these documents have been vetted.
Or they've been addressed.
Right, these are from 2023, so like, I would assume, but like.
Where do you want to go, Joe?
Yes, those, I think those.
Some way. I don't know if picking a date here is the best option. If we can, if John, you could schedule that meeting that we're talking about. And I don't know if you want to poll the committee via email, or you want to set a date that's amenable to someone from Tom, when Tom is available. And then see what members of the committee are available.
I mean, we're all here. Do we want to look at our calendars?
With everybody that's here now.
Yeah.
I don't have my
So you
calendar.
trying to do this during the day?
I'm. Let's pick the day first, and then we'll see if it's day or night.
Can we do Monday? Should I just start the ball rolling?
Yeah, Monday actually has.
I'm wide open Monday, which is highly unusual.
Yeah, I can't say wide open.
Although actually I do have except for I have a 7 o'clock meeting on Monday, but the full day is pretty clear.
I can meet after 2 o'clock on Monday.
I can do the same.
We need Tom.
Tom, are you or Brian available, do you know, Monday at 2?
I am available Monday. I am checking with Brian. I don't know about my consultants. Someone will be there for sure. I'm sure we'll make it work. I just gotta confirm.
I am out all next week, and into the following week, so I will not be part of it. I'll be in California. Even if it was a Zoom meeting, I think I would be able to be tied up.
I mean, Tom, we don't need all your consultants here, right? They can Teams in.
I thought we're doing this as a
We're doing it in person. I
in
think,
person.
We don't need all.
I don't know if the consultants.
We
no, we
don't,
don't need the
that's
consultants.
what I'm saying, we don't need.
The architect can just relay any of our concerns or comments, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying is if they were available online in the event we had a specific question. Right,
That's protocol. I don't know.
Monday.
we're talking Monday the
Monday at 2
28th.
o'clock? 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock
Anybody
till
can do Friday, so that Joe can be
Friday?
the 18th.
here. 20.
This
Yeah.
Friday,
This
25th.
Friday.
Nope, I can't do that.
Sorry. I would be available on the 25th.
Well, is
Are-
this modifying the dates for the bidding process? Because they're looking to finalize documents, on Friday, so I don't think
I don't
that's
think
fair
that's a
to
good
them
idea.
to
You're right.
have a meeting on Friday.
Forget that.
Unless we're extending the dates on the bidding, schedule.
Let's let them do their job.
Really, we keep going in circles about that,
How
about
about
whether.
tomorrow?
So
Brian can attend.
Monday the 28th. Why not Monday the 28th?
Well, we kind of hope that our chair would be involved,
Pardon?
kind of hope that our chair would be there, but if you're okay with not being able to.
I'm
attend.
okay to delegate.
Team Brian can do it as well on Monday
And we're
at 2
saying-
o'clock.
so we're doing the,
And where is in person? Colliers?
so
A meeting room.
Can
Or a town
do
meeting.
that there. I don't know if, you're able to grab a space here or not.
All right, location TBD. It will be posted before 24 hours though, right, for the public?
Actually, yeah, if it's a public, I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want to
So
have
we'll find
Colliers.
a- yeah, we'll
have
find a-
Madison filled up. That's not going to work.
We'll find a town area to do it.
It's not
so
that.
what's the date?
28th, Monday, the 28th, starting at 2 o'clock, and location to be determined.
Do we need an agenda?
I just asked, we're doing a page turn and
Go.
start
on
page
page 1
one
and
and
go
the
through.
estimate. Are we
Well,
making
well-
the estimate at the same time? Or having that available to cross-reference it?
I'll work with John to get a start of the agenda and then circulate it to be sure we've got it all. We'll do that, we can do that tomorrow, John.
Okay, tomorrow afternoon.
Tomorrow afternoon, sure. Call me.
Now back, my earlier question, Al, as far as the dates on the bidding process, are we looking to move this out based on the meeting on Monday? For, to address potential changes to the documents? Or are we proceeding to put this out to bid on Monday and then have the page turn and then trying to address those potential questions and answers in an addendum?
My understanding was the latter. Because we're gonna do an addendum anyway. And if there are substantial changes or questions during the page turn, then that might delay the going out to the GCs. If we had to wait to redo the drawings, that would be a substantial piece of time between that Monday and then sending the GC package out. Is that everybody's, is that the understanding?
So yes, but I think that means we have to delay it because the package is supposed to go out Monday. So if we have the page turn Monday, they're not gonna know.
Right.
Basically, we have to at least delay a week, if not more. Depending on how the comments get received by
Again,
the
I
team.
thought that any comments would be handled in an addendum to the GC package, as opposed to be incorporated into the GC package.
But depending
I don't
on
think so.
I think depending
No.
on
the impact of the comments.
The difficult thing here is we have to remember, we're putting it out to bid to try to get a price, knowing that our estimate's gonna be, or bid result's gonna be higher than what we have budgeted. right? So, we have to do the best we can to try to stay on task along the way, right? So, the page turn is important, right? There's items that may be able to go to addendum, but depends, if we go to an addendum, correct me if I'm wrong, John, we don't know how long it would take Tom to put that together to get it out while it's being bid. So either your 3 weeks becomes 6 weeks for bidding, or you slide it 1 week and we go through the page turn to determine if there is anything large, small, right? And be able to identify that list and have QA&M and Colliers be able to respond to it.
Okay,
I don't know.
With,
Yeah.
with the intent that the response can be addressed by next Friday. So then the bid would go out the following Monday.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. And plus it
Just
would
make
give
sure-
QA&M a few more days if there is something that needs to go in an addendum that's, could take them some time. I mean, or it could have to go to one of their subs to look, you know,
Right,
depending
depending
on
on
what
what
it is.
the item is. Right. Does that make sense, Tom? To you?
He left.
I can do either. We'll march to the directive of the committee. We could issue the notification tomorrow or Monday. We can make drawings available end of the week. If something significant has to be addressed, we can push the back end date out via the addendum. That could happen anyways. But if the building committee feels more comfortable pushing it off till November 4th, or the 5th or the 6th, we can revise the schedule and we can do that as well. Either's fine.
So by doing that though, right now the bids are due back the Friday before Thanksgiving. Correct?
Correct.
So
So you
If
would
we
be pushing the
delay-
bids out till the week following Thanksgiving.
Yeah, what day do you usually open bids?
Usually on Friday.
Yeah, so you're not gonna want to do the, you're not.
It'd be
you want-
the
you don't-
Friday after
You don't
Thanksgiving.
want to be you don't want to do the 6th then, December 6th.
If that's the.
That's a
Following
Friday
Friday.
after.
So it would have to be at least the 6th. The reality is that the contractors won't actually start collecting subtrade bids or get any subtrade bids until Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3, 4, 5. So it would have to be at least the 6th. And then, because of the holidays in there, it's possible the contractors will come back and say, can you extend it a week? Just because of the holiday being there. So, it just note that it could be into the following week. And that's okay. I mean, it might be that anyways. If the bids go out and the contractors have lots of questions and we have a lot of bid interest, it's not uncommon for that to happen either. So if we issue on the 4th, it's 1, 2, 3. The week of the Thanksgiving week is almost dead. I'm not saying it's dead, but it's almost dead. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 weeks is the 6th. So we could try for the 6th, but it's possible, it could get extended into the next week if the addendum is depending on what's in the addendum. I don't know, maybe.
what impact would that delay have on the follow-up tasks?
Right.
So realistically, let's say we receive bids on the 6th, realistically, we would need a week, at least a week to vet the bids, if not 2 weeks, do bid reconciliation, just make sure the scope is in there, feel confident about the number before issuing it, to town council. I mean, the town would know what the bid results are. we wouldn't know, what is the veracity of the bids. If we do get a lot of bidders, we'll probably get a band of bidders that are in the same ballpark. We'll have, confident idea that that's the real number. The biggest fear is that you get a bidder who's really low, and then you need to validate that number. It could take a week or two to go through that process. So that puts you towards the end of December, about the 20th. The following week is kind of dead. I don't know what the town's schedules are like, but then the week after that is half dead. So you're not really taking any action until the week of January 6th. And then, again, I'd have to talk to Al and his team about how that affects notifications regarding, a potential referendum date. I can't remember if it's 60 days or 90 days. But, let's see, 30 days is
Need to plan into their public hearings as well prior to the referendum.
understood. I think all of that happens within the 60-day or 90-day period. So, that's basically February 6th and then March 6th, and then potentially right around, that would put 90 days would be right around early April. And I don't remember what the town was thinking. Again, I don't want to speak for Al. I think there was some conversation about a May referendum for budget referendum, and not wanting to have a conflict there. Maybe that's a conversation that needs to be had afterwards with the selectmen.
Well, L's on, so he may be able to answer that now.
I know Al's on, but I don't know if he'll be able to answer that.
Oh,
Answer.
Yeah, I'm back on.
back.
Look, if the selectmen had their druthers, we would stay on the original timeline, but I think it is terribly important that this committee feel comfortable with the process. And when it's time to move forward, I would hope this committee would be in consensus and in unison. So I think at this point in time, the committee has to do what it feels is right to get to its finish line.
Should we make a motion?
So we need to move to open the agenda to add or to schedule a special meeting of the committee. So I'll make that motion to open the agenda for that item.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed?
Okay, I'll move to schedule a special meeting of this facility, an in-person meeting that will be held October 28th at 2 o'clock. Space to be determined.
Room A. Fishbowl.
Room A. In room A. Wait a minute, which one's room A?
The fishbowl.
Isn't early voting going on there?
Nope,
Oh.
I just reserved the room.
Okay. Is that the Hamo room then? Is early voting?
Camera room is, yes, room C.
Okay. Got it.
I'll second the motion.
In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Do we have to do anything to delay the vote on delaying the bids?
I guess the Yes, I don't know if we have to actually do anything for that, we don't normally vote on schedule changes, but it's not something we normally do.
No, we haven't.
The
voted.
schedule, just
Okay.
schedule changes, just go by consensus. I would like to say though, that I'd like the committee to decision, or the committee to consider how much value we're going to add versus how much we're going to delay. When the dates were picked to squeeze them in before the holidays, and any delays, or any significant delays, you start hitting the delays from the holidays, and instead of being in, early December, you're in mid-January. I think that was just a sort of top of the head, look at it. But I mean, to delay the outcome of this for 6 weeks is, we would have to be adding a considerable amount of value, and to make it worth that large a delay. And one of the reasons that I was a proponent of moving forward faster was that value equation. What are we adding to the process versus how much how much extra time it takes?
Well, the thing is, we
And if we
don't
could
know.
get together on Monday, the whatever,
28th.
28th, and make that a one and done, and give the marching orders to Tom, then that's fine. But if there's, schedules of meetings after that and additional approvals after that, I don't see how we're adding enough value to delay it to get the endpoint in January.
I don't think we need to have a discussion about rebuttals.
Pardon?
I have a different outlook, but I don't think we need to have that discussion right now, as it's already 7 o'clock and we have a lot of things on the agenda. I think we're just moving ahead with what has been scheduled, and we'll take it from there once we know what those discussions come up with.
I'm sorry, folks. I said in my note that I had a hard end at 7 o'clock, and I do. So it's 6:59. I've got another meeting that I have to attend. That's not involved with Academy, unfortunately. It's other stuff there's other work that I have to actually do. Sorry.
I don't,
Text me if you need something, because I'll be on Zoom, so I might be able to answer any questions if there's anything specifically for me. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Next item on the agenda is liaison reports, or did I?
Already did that.
We did that?
Yeah, we've been doing it for the last hour.
Okay. Subcommittee, where did we get? I thought we got off track on chair's comments, but Al, did you talk about the replacement for Joe Perkins?
yeah,
Okay.
we just went, we did
went out of order
item
there.
4 and then item 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could probably start with invoicing.
Yeah, I think we don't have any subcommittee updates because that's what Monday's for.
Not beyond what we've just talked about. Review and any invoice,
Nope,
any budget line item transfers,
nope.
Collier's update.
See you Monday.
Pretty much went through everything already. So I have nothing new to add to that. Although, excuse me, I do want to try to make sure I understand. Are we changing the bid package going out on Monday by 1 week? Because that obviously impacts QAM's scope of work over the next couple of days, and I just want to make sure if that needs to go out, that, we get that to the town, or if we
So
have that.
they
that
need to do that in advance. We can't say, well, we'll meet on Monday and then decide.
We need to know that.
QAM needs to have that done in advance.
Right.
I think we have to.
Have to wait the 1 week. Okay. All right. And
That's
Al,
just me though, so.
Well, it sounded like Al wanted to make sure everyone was on board, and he was okay pushing it 1 week if the community needs to get on board.
that's what I understood too. I just want to make sure. I'll update the agenda or the schedule as best I can with
Okay.
the modified dates. Okay, that's all.
and then work everything forward from there, with that 1 week delay.
Correct.
I had some notes here. The page turn, that wasn't done. The input, got that done. The theater, is that a Collier's update or QAM?
That's a QAM.
QAM,
update.
okay. Okay, John, anything else?
No.
Tom? Update from you?
Yeah, no, we're just moving forward towards Monday. We're expecting all the documents to be in place end of the day, Friday or Monday. So the full set of construction documents will be available to review on Monday at the page turn. We will also, either way, we will still be prepared to go out, issue the documents on Monday, even though that will get potentially extended. We will be prepared to do that. And really that's what I have.
We've been waiting for some feedback from these consultants that did the stage. Have you gotten anything back from them?
I have not received anything than the original estimate discussion that they had, identifying what the appropriate budget would be to meet the base needs of the stage, being at approximately $400,000.
And are they still, are you still expecting something from them, or is that all we get?
At this point in time, they've done their preliminary study and identified what they believe the, budget for the preliminary work is. If they, a more detailed design above and beyond that is an additional effort on their part. So the question is how far do we want to take this? How much do we want to commit to design and full fit out of those stages?
Are you looking for an answer from the committee on that?
Kind of, seeing as, maybe that's something we can discuss Monday when you see the reconciled cost estimates and we start making, financial decisions about scope and moving forward.
Okay. So, John, you could add that to Monday's, next Monday's discussion also.
We'd asked for the occupancy counts that you guys were working off of, and I haven't received those. So will that be part of those construction documents as well?
Yeah, they're on the code sheet of the construction drawings. So you should have it. If you don't, you will definitely have that on Monday.
Should be in the set that we received, that progress set.
Yes. I believe the code set starts with R.
I search for R, that's gonna be to
I can AJ, I can make sure you have that information. I'll ask Brian to get it to you directly.
Indexed. The PDF.
It's not bookmarked.
It's not bookmarked.
no.
The other thing that might be part of the, maybe this is a Monday thing, the results of the design changes that came from the selective demolition. I believe there were some design changes to the roof structure.
Yes, I don't know what those are yet. The existing roof construction presents some challenges for supporting the mechanical equipment. Structural engineer is working on those design changes now. So I don't know what the impact is. We have a relatively short window to accomplish that.
And is that on your schedule to complete by the drawings, the GC drawings Monday?
Yes, yes.
And the question on the on QA or on Fuss and O'Neill, I think we got the message back that the brownfield grant will not cover the work of the additional work that they're asking for. Is that, did I see that correctly?
I don't know. I don't know if I saw that correspondence.
We'll cover the select demo that we just did.
I think it covered the select demo, but not the addition, any additional work after that.
The
Modifications to
last
the
change
drawing.
order,
Pardon?
the last change order, the one about the environmental consulting?
There's an amendment number 4.
Yes, I'm looking at it right now, or I'm looking it up right now. If you have that, you can stop me.
Yeah, amendment 4 was for 13,300.
Right, that's to address the modifications they needed to do to their drawings and specs based on the findings from the selective demolition scope.
But the first 3 amendments are covered by the Brownfields grant?
I believe that's what Joe was saying.
Sounds like we just gotta get following.
If you could follow up on that, and I think you'd have to follow up with Aaron. No, is there any follow-up needed? Is that,
I had emailed her last week, actually, after the amendment 4 was approved
you're talking
by
about
the
Aaron?
building committee. But I have not seen anything back or further on that status.
So that's on your list to follow up on?
I can email her again if you'd like. Yeah, she was still checking into that and was waiting for a response. But yeah, I can follow up again.
Okay, maybe that's. Not coming up on my, I hate searching with my phone, but, if you could do it, follow up on that, John.
Sure.
And Felicia, did you get any response at all on the bathrooms, the roof visibility and the stairs?
No.
Stairs for the stage?
No.
No.
I'm also looking at the set I have right now. It goes from demo to architectural, so we do not have landscape, civil, survey, or the code information in the most recent set that we've been given. And this is a 90% CD set, so that's fine, but to AJ's point, we don't have those sheets.
So they'd have to be supplied between now and before Monday?
Well, I think the
Or we can just
benefit
go
would
through
be
it on
if we
Monday.
got them ahead of time, we could look at them independently, so Monday's meeting is efficient as possible.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to go
I
through
would
the
say,
sheet.
ideally, if we had them ahead of time, we're not the first time we're seeing it.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Or if we have comments.
I think the earliest we'll have, the majority of the consolidated set will be Friday. So I can get it to you Friday.
Sorry, Tom, could you send what you have on the architecturals at least? Could you do that tomorrow? Have Brian send that package?
I have architectural, it's just we go. from
Well,
D
I'm
to
sorry,
I,
the
yeah.
architecturals, the demo, the code, whatever, Felicia, you were referencing the gaps or something in the architectural package.
What
Yeah.
about like the subs?
I don't know, sub-wise, what they actually, the civil, I was just copying on the civil drawings today, so those, I think, just came in today.
And we did get conditional approval from conditional approval from the town sanitarian today for the septic.
Yeah, and then the set I have doesn't have any MEP, it stops at architectural. Yeah, so I don't have any mechanicals, no plumbing, no fire protection, no electrical.
That's all I had on colleagues doing it down. Anybody else? Yep. Keep this for- Nope. Jean, is there anyone there for public comment? If anyone would like, any public comment, please raise your hand.
Nope.
Hearing none. The last item is the discussion and possible vote on the proposed meeting schedule for 2025. If you haven't seen it, or looked at it, it's every second Monday and fourth Tuesday. Is that right, Jeannie?
I don't have it in front of me, but
Yeah.
that's carrying forward the way you've been meeting
Yes.
the last 2 years.
I did look at it. It does, the list that Jeannie sent out does match that. It doesn't necessarily account for holidays. If there's a holiday in there somewhere that we might want to switch the meeting around.
No,
And
it
also,
counts.
pardon,
But it counts for holidays.
We set this up for the whole year,
for the whole year.
even, we're gonna be in construction.
I know, that's what I was just gonna say. We'll be in construction.
We don't need to meet every.
Right, so do we just cancel the meeting, meet once a month?
I was gonna make a request that we potentially move them all to a single day.
I'll
of the
move what?
week. Move them to a single day of the week for updates to my personal calendar and I think some others that having to block 2 days basically off from any travel to or kid stuff is increasing complexity.
The reason it was set this way was because the rooms were all taken based on other committee meetings. Board of Selectmen meetings or. Board of
When we
Finance.
originally said it, I remember that was.
Is that still true, Jeannie?
I mean, the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance and the Board of Ed are gonna take precedence over the room reservations than this committee.
So you want to propose second and fourth Monday?
Yes.
Keep it the same.
That would be
As opposed to Tuesdays?
Yes.
right. Would be my ask.
When are we planning on going to construction? April? May,
April was the
right?
original intent.
I don't know. I mean, that's fine. I don't mind if you do the whole year. We could cut it off after May and do it once a month or whatever. It's easier for everybody. If you want to do the first 4 months of the year, 5 months, 2 Mondays, it's fine too. Set up a new
Yeah, I don't mind having them all. on
outlook
there.
after.
We always modify as we need to. as the year goes on.
So, would you,
I might leave them all on for now. And then once we know what the construction schedule is, when the job meetings are going to be, is there gonna be subcommittee representation at the job meetings? Who's that gonna be? And then when would we have to report back to the building committee to address invoicing approvals and payment applications? So I would leave both meetings on for now. And then we can change afterwards.
Yeah, I agree.
Are we just requesting that we try to do Mondays though?
That's fine.
Okay.
Because Monday's a good date. It does, it's not dependent on when the construction meetings are, right? Monday's a good time. As long as the construction meetings are on Monday.
can you check if we could do
You know what
everything?
I'm saying, Tom? It's good for this committee to meet if there's issues or discussion on topics, and you could bring that to the construction meeting.
Construction
Vice
meetings are
versa.
usually middle of the week.
Yeah.
But
Construction meetings are usually in the middle of the week, you still don't have.
So Monday's
have a
good.
construction meeting on a Monday, because contractor's looking to.
Well, we'll review the last 2 weeks on the Monday, and then we'll have any comments for the next construction meeting, and then whenever comes out of meeting, the next Monday we meet, and we'll just keep the process going. Whenever invoices come in, you know, Ann and Joan read on it, we good to go.
So Gina, could you check if we could do, second and fourth Mondays?
You can do whatever you want. They will find a room for you guys to meet in.
Okay.
Do that.
Can you redo the schedule for the second and fourth Mondays?
Right, so you guys are gonna
Come through the parking lot.
approve the agenda item with the change to the second and fourth Mondays of the month.
Can I get a motion to approve the revision to the second and fourth Mondays of the month?
So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
I,
Aye. We got enough people, yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome, AJ, just for you.
Just for me.
You showed up on time today.
That's what I get, it's my special.
we have to promise to show up on time every Monday. Every
No,
Monday.
no, only every other Monday.
Yeah,
Every
that's a-
Monday meeting.
That's true, yeah, every other.
No
You
public
only have to
has
show up on
not
time
their
every
hand
other-
raised.
every other-
No public.
Every other.
No public?
Okay, gotta close it out, buddy.
Okay,
Being no objection.
I move to adjourn. Do I get a second? I don't think I need a second.
No, you can just say
Adjourn.
what-
There being no objection, the meeting was adjourned.